Okay, welcome back to day 6 of Freetrail's tailgating coverage of the 2026 Black Canyon 100K and the Tarawera 102K. The back-to-back golden ticket races happening here this weekend. This is the instant recap show from today's Black Canyon 100K. So many stories to get to. We've got a couple of great guests and co-hosts to help me walk through all of it. Introducing MK Sullivan back again, who's been carrying a lot of weight for Freetrail here this weekend. MK, how psyched are you right now? Is that just like the most crazy day ever?
Yeah, it was. I was at the track today announcing for the college here, and thank God it was a day of 200s because I was just like glued to that screen, and I missed a couple names out there, but it was worth it to like watch the whole live stream.
Yes. And joining us also young and fit, Hans Troyer continues an insane level of momentum in the sport. Big victory and course record. Hans Troyer, congratulations and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as well.
The pride of Noonan, Georgia. I posted a reel of you at the finish line, and I said the kid from Cartersville, and people were like, "Isn't he from Noonan?" Anyway, big respect to Georgia, man. Big respect to Georgia, and I know you're in the middle of a bit of a transition now, which we'll talk about here in a second. First and foremost, bro, how are you feeling? You're only 2 hours removed from this massive, potentially life-changing performance in your career. Where's your emotional state right now?
I feel pretty good. I mean, physically I'm destroyed, but mentally I'm on top of the world. We just got back to the B&B, hung out at the finish line for a while, and we got, I had a whole a really big crew come out for this race. And we also have the Hyperlight guys here as well. So there's kind of a party happening out in the living room right now. They're playing ping pong and stuff. But yeah, so I'm on top of the world, feeling really good.
Amazing. All right. Ethan, let's pull up some of our multimedia here for the audience to watch while we chit chat with Hans. First and foremost, this is the Strava file. You got to go follow Hans Troyer on Strava. It's massively entertaining, both because it inspires you to run faster and the kid's got a sense of humor too. Hans, I think we got to start just sort of from the beginning. It seemed like, you were sort of at the front. Jordan Bramlett took control of the race early, but you and a chase pack of really strong guys were kind of right there, only a couple of seconds back, all the way sort of through those first couple of aid stations. Maybe just give us a sense of the energy at the front pack in those early miles.
Yeah, I mean, we went out. We honestly did not go out that fast. I think our first mile was 5:52, and then we came back with a 6:35. So once we ran the 6:35, I actually decided, I was like, all right, I'm gonna push pace just a little bit. Let's get it going just a little bit. And then Francesco came with me. And then me and Francesco were kind of leading for a while until he took a very bad fall, which was super unfortunate. I think he ended up dislocating his shoulder, which is very upsetting. So I was really looking forward to racing him. So obviously I was quite upset with that. And But
so you actually saw the fall?
I was directly behind him. Yeah.
Was it carnage?
It was a tough fall. Yeah, he fell. We were going slightly downhill, so we were moving, and he fell into a bunch of rocks. And he hit hard, and I felt bad because I immediately was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And then everybody was kind of just running past us, and I was like, "I guess I gotta go. I don't know," but I just kept running. But yeah, I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Well, at least it seemed like it was kind of close to that first aid station, so you didn't totally leave him in the dust, at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the game. He would have, I think, done the same thing in that situation. It's unfortunate. It's part of racing, and we do have a little clip of Francesco that we're going to play later in today's show. Before we get to that, though, we got to hear more about your race. And Ethan, maybe pull up the clip of Hans and the boys steamrolling into Deep Canyon Ranch. This is where, more or less things really start to heat up and the contenders start to separate from, the rest of the top 10. Here you are with Eli Hemming and Jordan Bramlett, a threesome coming into the 50K aid station. Tell us about what was happening in the miles coming in here, what your mindset was at, what your focus was in this transition.
Yeah, so coming out of the Bumblebee aid station, I actually kind of had a little bit of a plan to make a small move coming out of that if it was there. And the idea was if I was 10 or 20 meters ahead, I was going to make a really big move and just try and get out of sight and just do something big. But then, Eli and Jordan were there with me. So then we kind of made a semi move where we just kind of pushed that whole section. It ended up being a lot of fun. We were all chit chatting, and I started saying things like, all right, guys, like, let's do this. I was hyping up the three of us. I was like, we're doing great. The miles aren't going to run themselves type of thing. And we're just having a lot of fun. And so, yeah, we ran that entire section together, which was great. And then, then we got to Deep Canyon, and I think that I like to, surge into the aid stations a little bit, just so I feel like I have control over the situation.
Yeah.
So I surged in. I'm not sure I think Jordan took a little bit longer, but then I left the aid station first, and Eli was pretty close behind, but then he caught up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it kind of turned into two of us for a minute.
Dude, this was exactly like 2023, and it was you, Hayden, and Jupiter Carrera Casas coming in together as a threesome. And it's funny looking back to last year too. It was Seth and Will Murray all coming in together. It's been 3 years in a row with sort of a threesome at the front of the men's race. So Ethan's going to pull up our next clip here, which is you finally alone. This is as you're approaching Table Mesa, but fill out the story a little bit more, because as we were watching the live stream after Deep Canyon Ranch, the next aid station, I believe, is called Cottonwood. And that's where you finally got away from Eli. And I think the gap there was 3.5 minutes. Eli came in looking hot and kind of, it seemed like you had damaged.
A little cooked,
so to speak.
Yeah.
Tell us about where you got the separation, and especially like what sort of switch flips in your head at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we ran together for a while, and then obviously Chris Myers was there as well because he's pacing Eli. So the three of us were kind of chugging along. And then you said it's Cottonwood. That's the out and back aid station, right?
No, that's Black Canyon City.
Sorry, okay. So
yeah.
Black Canyon City, we all ran in together. And Eli and I actually chatted yesterday at the panel, and we were talking about like where we could possibly make moves, just kind of, talking about it. And he said he's not making any moves till after mile 37 at Black Canyon City aid station. And so I was kind of ready. I was like, well, if he's making a move, like it's about to happen. And sure enough, we left the aid station at the same time. And then I heard Chris said, like, all right, Eli, like whenever you're ready, just give me the word. And I was like, oh my goodness, like here we go. We're this about to go down. And then about a minute later, I heard a little whistle. And I was like, oh, that's the code. They're about to go. But it turns out it was actually a sad whistle, because I think that Eli was overheating a little bit. So after he whistled, I guess another minute later, I kind of glanced over and they were like 20 meters back. And so I actually just decided to like throw in a surge right there and just try and, break the elastics. So doing a big surge. And then at that point, it's just me. And of course we saw, I think there was like 3 or 4 other guys that like were coming into the aid station as we were going out. So like I knew we weren't completely alone. But that launched me into a solo effort for a while. But even I still underestimated the Black Canyon course. I wouldn't think that I would have, but that like 9-mile stretch between Black Canyon City and Cottonwood, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that I ran out of all water and all carbs with like 4 miles to go in that. And so it was really scary. And I kept telling myself, like, all you gotta do is get to that aid station. You get to that aid station, then you're home free, because then you'll have water and carbs for the rest of the race. Yeah. And I did. I got to Cottonwood, restocked everything. But I think that it caught up with me about like whatever, 30 minutes without anything caught up. Because then in that clip, me running into Table Mesa, I was actually feeling so good for so long. And then probably a quarter mile before Table Mesa, all of a sudden I like just kind of started to bonk. I got really hot, and all of a sudden the legs just didn't feel as smooth. And so coming out of Table Mesa, I was actually like, I was bonking hard. I think my 3 slowest miles were directly after that. And of course, when I get into that aid station, that's also when I heard that Anthony Costales was like 6 minutes behind me, and I wasn't completely alone, and he was closing. And so I'm going through a bonk at that point. I think I ran like a 9:40 mile, and I know that Anthony's coming after me, so I was terrified. But I just chugged my drink, took as much carbs as I could, and luckily it was just those 3 miles, and my legs came back to me, and I was able to fight to the finish. But it was a fight, and I was quite scared.
I had a very similar experience last year, like totally ran out of water on that section. It's so much longer than you imagine 9 miles is going to be on the day.
Yeah.
But we talked a bit about how that out and back at Black Canyon is kind of like the crux of the course, like if you're close to people. And I wonder, like, did you know how much space you would put on Eli, because it gets pretty twisty turny after that. And so you can kind of on the trees.
I'm sorry, will you repeat that one more time?
Did you guys
Sorry.
catch that?
You kind of broke up.
Yeah, sorry. I think I cut out. I was just asking, like, did you know how much space you had put on Eli? Because after that, like out and back, it becomes pretty twisty turny. And so you can be hiding, but he could also be just around the corner and you not really know it.
I would say I kind of just assumed, I mean, based on the fact that he let me go, I assumed he's probably going through something. Then when I put on that surge, like I ran up that hill, like you go down through the river. I went up that hill at like a pretty solid pace. Like it was nothing crazy, but like I was thinking that if someone's going faster up this hill than I was, then like they're having themselves a day. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm definitely not losing ground right now. I'm pretty sure I'm gaining ground. So I didn't know exactly how far I was ahead, but I kind of assumed that I assumed he was having some trouble. Yeah.
Well, dude, I guess fast forward to the finish line. Just give us a sense of the feeling when you crossed the finish line, understanding that you just broken the course record. It was about another 5-minute improvement on Seth Ruling's time. This is the 4th year in a row the men's course record has fallen. And obviously you understood you didn't need the golden ticket, but it obviously is a massively significant result for you.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, still got I'm losing my voice from the run. But I really thought that Anthony was coming after me, and so I was like really pushing for the final like 10 miles, and it wasn't until like 800 to go, and I look over my shoulder and I didn't see anybody, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I did it. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh man, and I think I'm gonna break the course record. I was like, that's really cool. So I mean, it was just one of the coolest feelings ever, because I mean, I have a history with this race. 2 years ago I ran it and did some serious damage to my body, so this one was personal for me. So
I was going to say, it would have been like a full circle moment to exercise the demons out there, have redemption on the course that put you in the hospital.
Oh yeah. I mean, it would have been a sweet day just to like finish it in a healthy and like, semi-competitive way, but being able to finish with, like winning and setting a course record on a course that, almost killed me 2 years ago. It's really special. And I was really dizzy. I was almost collapsing at the finish, but the emotions were there, and I was just incredibly excited.
All right, we'll let you go here in a little bit, but let's look forward now. You posted that you're in the middle of a bit of a personal transition. The kid from Noonan, Georgia is about to be a Boulder, Colorado resident. Plus, of course, I'm sure Western States is firmly in your crosshairs right now and a major focus of your life. Talk about just this moment of transition, the move, what motivated it, and sort of looking ahead towards Western States, what your goals are.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's something that I've wanted to, like, I guess, get better training grounds for a while. But my wife, Grace, is very career motivated. So we kind of just decided that, if jobs in her career field popped up at some of the major running cities, that, she'd apply for one of them. And eventually if she got one, then that would be it. And we go to a major running city. So that popped up. And she applied and got the first job that had popped up. And so it was a really spare the moment thing. I was kind of hoping we'd be there within the next few years. But then this early January, we found out she got it, and we're like, well, that's what we needed. That's all we needed to go out there. So yeah, we'll be out there within the next 3 or 4 weeks. We've been selling everything in our current house. So our house is getting really echoey, and it's kind of funny. But I'm extremely excited, and then I'm going to take. I won't race for a while. I want to make sure that my body adjusts well to the new training and the altitude and all that stuff. So it'll be a nice long build up into Western States. And Western States is, that's the A goal for the year. Really hope to have a good day out there. So yeah, I'm excited.
One of the things that we talked about earlier in the week, MK, Danny Sullivan, Tim Tollefson, and I, was this the challenge of peaking and having a great race at Black Canyon and then backing it up at Western States several months later. And the joke that we made was basically like, everybody who wins this weekend or finishes on the podium or squeezes out that golden ticket type effort, they need to pump the brakes a little bit. So it sounds like you've already got that planned. You mentioned your wife, Grace. She's going to be racing in the 50K tomorrow. Maybe you could give her a quick shout out and share what you're going to be doing to support.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out Grace. This is her first 50K. She's done one trail race. She did a trail half marathon a couple years ago, and she won that. So she's 100% on ultra sign up.
Let's go.
And I heard that she got a little dark horse shout out on the Freetrail podcast,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it yet. But she's excited. She's nervous. But I'll be out there crewing. She's probably not a dark horse for any any podium or anything. I think she's shooting for more like a 6 hour 50K. But she's racing, and then also Kai, which does all my YouTube videos, like filming and editing, he's also racing the 50K out there tomorrow. Yeah. So I'll be double crewing. I'm really excited about it. And I was saying all week, I was like, guys, I really hope I race well on Saturday so that I'm in a good mood on Sunday. Because, you got to wake up at 4:45 again tomorrow morning to go out and crew. But I'm extremely excited for it. And Grace has been putting in some good work. So I'm excited to see how she does.
You stud. Well,
That's
good
awesome.
luck to the team. MK, any closing questions or comments for Hans as we let him go here to go bask in the glory of his amazing achievement?
I mean, nothing but, huge congrats. And we can't wait to see your second year at Western States.
It's going to be a good one, I hope. I learned a lot, so hopefully
yeah.
Figure it out a little bit better.
And just for the audience too, man, like you're just riding such a great wave right now. And actually, it's funny. I wrote a newsletter recently, just this past week, actually, that was basically like exploring whether good karma is a performance enhancer, using an example from Shohei Ohtani. And I feel like that's kind of it's exemplified in your story too. And also just like having a good attitude and a positive demeanor and just like a friendly, though aggressive and competitive approach to the sport. I don't know, man, you're onto something with what you're doing right now. And like looking back over the last 12 months, way too cool. Canyons, Western States, JFK. Now Black Canyon, dude, you're on an absolute tear, dude. Keep going, man. It's so fun to root for you. It's so fun to watch your races and just to follow your career, man. So congratulations. Enjoy this big victory and appreciate your time coming on the show.
Yeah, go play some ping pong.
Yeah. I'm undefeated in the house right now. We'll see if
we'll see if you can move fast enough.
Win, but I'm gonna give my best. I've been talking a lot of smack all day, so
put it on the YouTube.
It'll be on there. We got some footage of it last night.
All right, buddy. Yeah, you can just X out of this window and you're good to go. So appreciate you coming on though.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much.
MK, how cool is that? The champion on the show, only a couple hours removed from his big victory. What'd you think?
I know, and I love the just like the transition of 2 years ago, like sending himself into the hospital at this race, and this year winning, but also being like, I'm gonna play it smart, and I'm not gonna race until Western States. I'm gonna recover. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna do this well.
Yeah, smart. The kid's got the it factor. That's for sure. It factor confirmed. All right, so we are going to get to the men's race here in just a second, but before we do, just kind of set up the show a little bit. This is the last of our 6-day straight binge coverage of Black Canyon and Tarawera. Go back and check out some of our other shows, including the instant recap that we did of the Tarawera 102K yesterday. There were 4 golden tickets handed out there in New Zealand. It was also a super exciting race, so you can go hear what all went down there if that interests you. And also one final chance to go play fantasy.freetrail.com, pick 5 deep for tomorrow's Black Canyon 50K. Also, big thanks to ACG. You can actually win new ACG Ultra Flies if you pick skillfully with your fantasy ballot also. So another reason to go play. Those Ultra Flies were on the feet of the women's champion, Jen Lichter, plus Molly Seidel. So
and men's second place.
Sorry?
And men's runner-up.
Yeah, so half the podium was wearing ACG Ultraflies today. I mean, if that isn't, if the proof isn't in the pudding there, then I don't know what else will show you just how fast they are. Check them out at allconditionsgear.com. We super appreciate their support here today and throughout the week. All right, men's race, of course, spending a minute on Hans, even though he's not here anymore. Nobody's hotter than him right now. I don't know. It's funny that he mentioned that at Cottonwood, he had been dry with water and carbs for a long time, because at that aid station, the camera was right there. He was in and out in 15 seconds. He did get wet. He did fill his bottles, but he was like smiling. There was no sense based on his body language or the look on his face that he was stressed in that moment. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting thing to
Yeah.
flag for the audience. Plus, yeah, just his good attitude. I don't know. To me, that feels like a differentiator for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think in these long distances, you just have to have the right attitude a lot of the times. As soon as it starts going downhill in your head, like little things become big things when they don't need to be big things. So to be able to come into that aid station and just be like probably pretty close to wrecked and just be like, it's okay. This is what life has given me today, and we're gonna move on from it. Like that's a winning attitude.
Yeah. Also interesting to hear that he was getting intel that Anthony Costales was closing and charging behind him. Anthony Costales,
terrifying.
2023 champion, had a day today. I actually am very interested to talk to him or hear how the race played out, because he was sort of in the mix earlier, and then it seemed like he was sort of in that back half of the top 10 or even outside the top 10
Yeah.
a little bit, sort of through the Bumblebee area. And then all of a sudden he started making up a lot of places in and around that Deep Canyon Ranch to Black Canyon City section. And I recall that back in 2023, when he had that duel with Tom Evans, that it was right after Black Canyon City that he made his move on the Great British Champion that year. So Anthony, it seemed like he was strong in the same section this year as he was the year that he won it. 8 minutes faster this year than 2023, though one spot lower. Comments on Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little worried about Costales when I saw that he was in like 12th place, and I was like, man, like I actually didn't have him getting a golden ticket today, but that wasn't like the day I had him having either. But then, you know, at like Cottonwood Gulch, I thought, oh my God, he might actually win this thing.
Yeah.
So he ran an incredibly smart race.
Yeah. So 7:24:32 for Anthony. I didn't make this explicit, but Hans Troyer was 7:20 flat. That made the margin of victory 4 minutes, 32 seconds between Hans and Anthony. So Anthony was making up time, though, ran out of real estate there in the last section of the race course. But phenomenal performance from Anthony Costales. Really like a statement podium position for him, get that golden ticket back to Western States where he has been on the podium. And to me, just like a really good feel-good story about bouncing back from a couple of tough years and injuries, sticking with it, and eventually comes back around at an important time. So it'll be great to see Anthony returning to the Western States 100. In third place, a big breakout performance for the Alaskan, Trayson Knopp, quietly a great 100K runner. He was sixth here at Black Canyon a couple of years ago. And then at Gorge last year, which was the Team USA Long Trail qualifier, he was second place and gave Adam Peterman a real run at Gorge Waterfalls last year. Third place here today, 7:26:45, only about a minute slower than Seth Ruling's course record time from last year. Comments on Trayson?
Too big, too strong. Big T comes in clutch and he finishes in third. That's 2 golden tickets for my coach, Rick Floyd, this weekend. One for Jacob Banta, one for Trayson Knopp. I'm absolutely stoked for that kid. He was one of the athletes who made a late surge 2 years ago and, you know, was like within 2 minutes of that golden ticket spot in 6th place in 2024. And then ended up trying to run canyons, had to drop out because of an Achilles issue. So I'm incredibly stoked to see that kid, but not surprised on the podium and with a golden ticket in his hand.
Yeah. And he spent some time in Reno, right? He and Claire Rhodes, his partner.
Yeah.
Which is where
they
MK
went
lives.
to grad school there. Unfortunately, they moved back to Alaska. Unfortunately for us, we miss them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
Love
braving the Alaskan winter to come down to Arizona in February to rip a 7:26 golden ticket podium performance at Black Canyon. Huge for Trayson Knopp. And again, there's sort of this pattern with 100Ks for him. He's a young, maturing athlete. I feel like potentially he's kind of built for these long course races, and he's really maturing into that type of an athlete. It'll be exciting to see him also toe the start line at Western States coming in June. Those were 2 of our 3 golden tickets. Moving on to somebody who didn't need one, though finished in a position that would have earned him a second one, Canyon Woodward. Sort of back, 2 great performances in a row from Canyon, who was third place at Javelina, ran 7:37:27 for 4th place today. Comments on Canyon?
I mean, he and Trayson were just so consistent all day. They kind of were like just off of that front pack for a lot of the beginning of the day, and they never really left, you know, like they didn't die. They also didn't like make up a ton of ground. So it was just like cool to see them. there wasn't a lot of consistency on the day. And so it was nice to just see them kind of staying in one place.
Yeah. Really solid performances from Canyon. Actually, one thing that's interesting here that I think they mentioned on the live broadcast today, at Javelina, we'll remember Canyon got the golden ticket because David Roche, his coach, declined the golden ticket at Javelina. So it could have been that David could have accepted that ticket and Canyon could have gone on to earn his own here at Black Canyon here today. And we would have had David Roche in the race at Western States, but I know he is dealing with a little bit of a physical issue right now. So we'll hope that maybe Chianti or Canyons will see David Roche's name pop up on the start list so that he can take a crack at a golden ticket.
Yeah.
Big congrats to Canyon. He also is debuting with a new sponsor, Mount to Coast. Always feels good. And we actually have a fun storyline to touch on that subject before we close tonight's show. In 5th place, one of the great, brave performances of the day, Jordan Bramlett was off the front on the gas, leading the pack through the, first few aid stations and all the way down into Bumblebee before ultimately getting swallowed up by the Hans Troyer, Eli Hemming train there. And we saw him in that first clip that we played on the show. Faded a little bit, but 5th place and a roll down golden ticket for Jordan Bramlett, the kid from Prescott, finished 7 hours, 42 minutes, 32 seconds. MK, do you know much about this kid?
I don't, but I was listening to the live stream and they were saying that he grew up like right next to Mayer High School or something like that. But it was, he led until Deep Canyon. So I was honestly so impressed when he ended up in 5th place, because the way that he kind of fell off that front pack, I was like, oh, this kid is not going to have a good second half, but he hung tough for that 5th place.
All right. So we're going to just kind of blast through the back half of the top 10 here before we move on and talk about the women a little bit. In 6th place, it was Ferdinand Eralt, who I believe is a member of the Air Viper racing team. He was DQ'd actually at the race last year for cutting a course. I think it was sort of an unintentional thing. I'm not exactly sure what the story was there, but he ran 8:10 for, I think it was like 9th place or something like that in 2024. So this was a 23-minute course record for Ferdinand. 7th place was our guy, the Kraken, Coleman Cragen, who a lot of us were talking about. Never really in the mix for the golden tickets, but sort of in that solid position all day in the back half of the top 10, 7:54.16. Big story here. Sage Canaday, an amazing performance. Huge for him. 8th place, 7:52.42, only 16 seconds slower than when he won the race in 2016. Crazy. Almost the exact same time. And that year, it was good enough for a win and a course record. Maybe I'll pause there. Any comments on 6, 7, 8, Ferdinand, Coleman, Sage?
I feel like Ferdinand was kind of in the top 10 all day. Same with Coleman. He was like 9 to 11 a couple times, got himself in 7th. Sage like kind of moved up all day. I remember hearing at some point that he was like 6 minutes faster at some points than he had run on the course. It was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, really great performances. 9th and 10th, rounding it out here, Zach Perrin, 8:09.47, and Andrew Quall, 8:11.51. Zach Perrin was 10th last year in 7:55, so he was 14 minutes slower, but one spot better this year. Kind of a head scratcher given, people like, like Ferdinand and people who have run the race in the past who are running significantly faster. And Andrew Quall, interesting. I looked him up because I don't know anything about him. He has 0 results on Ultra Sign Up. So it could be that this is the first of many times that we'll be seeing this type of a name, as Andrew. A top 10 for him, if it is indeed like his first real race, that's a fantastic result, running 8:11. So that's the men's top 10. One of the also major stories of today was Francesco Puppi taking that big fall that we just talked to Hans about. We do have a quick 2-minute interview with Francesco that Ethan can pull up here, and our audience can take a look at this or listen.
So tell me what happened out there.
Hi, Freetrail fans. So unfortunately, I had to drop out from the Black Canyon 100K because I took a really bad fall at mile 6 before the first aid station. And I tried to pick myself up and continue, but after a few minutes, the pain just became unbearable. And I actually dislocated my shoulder. So when I got to Hidden Treasure, I decided to drop out, and I got an X-ray, and luckily nothing is broken. But yeah, I dislocated my shoulder, and it was just too painful to continue. I tried to hang on, and because I was thinking maybe even if I get a couple of minutes or maybe 5 minutes from the lead, I can always catch up later. But I was forced to slow down because the pain was excruciating, and it's a bummer. I'm really sad. I'm still glad that I got to experience a great day, especially with Hans and all the other athletes that race. That was very inspiring to see, but obviously I'm very sad not to be able to finish the race and not to translate into results all the good work that I did in training. But it's sport, so I'll be back.
Thanks. How's it feeling right now?
It's very painful. First time dislocating my shoulder, and it's not a fun experience.
Great. Thank you so much.
Poor Francesco, but thanks so much for having the good nature to have a quick conversation with Tony Di Pasquale there, as he had his arm in a sling. For those who are just listening, comments on Francesco's bad luck today, MK?
I'm so sad because I actually did leave him in my free trail fantasy because I really felt like he was going to start and he was going to finish, and it wasn't the adductors in the end. It was darn shoulder.
Yeah, the darn shoulder. Another thing that I think we should just touch on quickly before we move on to the women's race is Eli Hemming, who I picked to win today, who was in the mix through those first, call it 40 or 60K or so. It was really at that Cottonwood aid station where it seemed like he started to really fall back from Hans. It turned into more of a death march. The further on he went, he wasn't really able to rally in any meaningful way. Did valiantly finish though. So respect to Eli for battling through the conditions and making it to the finish line. I think he was 21st male, somewhere in the neighborhood of 27 or 28th overall. Also, Tabor dropped out of the race, so a tough day for the Hemmings, fan favorites in the sport. MK, care to comment on Eli's day or Tabor?
I think I kind of missed most of Tabor's day because I missed like the first hour because I was
She dropped
sleeping.
at Bumblebee, and you have experience with that, so maybe you could.
I do. Yeah, I rolled my ankle pretty bad the first year that I ran Black Canyon, and there's nothing worse than like finally getting to see your crew for the first time and then being like, hey guys, I'm actually dropping out here.
Yeah.
Like, I know you guys came all the way to Arizona, but I'm done. So I'm sad for her because it never feels good to drop out anyways, but like to see your crew for the first time, I think makes it worse.
Yeah.
When I saw Eli sit down in that chair at Table Mesa, I was like, oh no, the chair's got him good.
Yep.
I didn't think he was going to finish. So yeah, I'm also impressed that he slogged it out for that, 27th position or whatever it was. But man, I really thought he was going to figure it out this time.
Me too.
I wonder, it'll be curious to hear like what he felt went wrong. Cause I knew that Tabor was dealing with Achilles stuff. So as sad as it is, I'm not terribly surprised. But yeah, for Eli, I was a little surprised.
It's inevitable that he does crack the code, but
yeah,
I think now he's probably getting pretty frustrated with it. And we should emphasize again that he did run 7:35 last year, which was a fast time, though he only finished in 4th position, which for Eli, you can view as a disappointing day. I'm sure he was hoping to improve and had a, more thought out game plan here as he builds some experience with 100K. And so the fact that it was not only that it wasn't an improvement, but it was a meaningful deterioration from last year's performance. I'm sure Eli's going back to the drawing board a little bit for us. It'll be interesting to see what he targets next, whether he decides to go back and focus more on the 50K distance where he's already proven he is among, if not the best in the world, or if he continues to chip away at this 100K and put something like Gorge Waterfalls or Canyons on the docket where you could make a little bit of money or go to get a attempt for a golden ticket. So shout out to Eli. Tough day for him, but he was in the mix until late. And I don't know, that was sort of how I was thinking about the race too, is that lead pack that's going through Deep Canyon Ranch. One of them's going to stick it. One of them's going to fade a little bit, but still have a good day. And one of them's going to crack wide open. That is kind of how it played out, though, with different characters than I expected. And Eli was the one who fell apart, unfortunately, but we're all big fans and we'll root for him wherever he lines up next. Moving on to the women's race. Holy, one of the greatest races of all time, honestly.
I was blowing you up. I was blowing Danny and Rachel up. I was crazy.
Yeah. So let's just start with the champion, Jen Lichter, 100K debut, huge course record, sub 8 hours. What did you think about it? 19 minutes faster than Riley last year.
I'm still kind of like, don't even know how to put it into words. Like I knew that the course could go faster. Danny and I have talked about the fact that the course could go under 8 hours, but it just like, I don't know, the way she ran it. Like yesterday I was saying that I didn't think we would see wire to wire kind of performances anymore. And it wasn't quite wire to wire because Molly was leading, but she was right there pretty much the whole day. I mean, it was like so impressive. I kept thinking like, oh no, like they're going fast. Are they going to crack? And it just never happened. She just kept chugging along.
Yeah. So we should say, so contrary to the men where we saw the clip where Hans, Jordan, and Eli were coming through Deep Canyon Ranch, Jen came in alone there, but though with Ann Flower only about a minute behind. And at that point, it was like, okay, Jen's got a tiny window, though, with a very impressive chase pack not far behind. You know, what is she going to do here? She'd take control of the race. And she did, it seemed, though she could not shake Ann Flower. And that gap remained the same all the way to the finish line.
Yeah.
70 seconds separating first and second at the Black Canyon 100K this year, both of them going under 8 hours. And Ann Flower, I mean, also one of the great 100K performances of all time for second place.
Yeah. I mean, it was like the ideal day for these women. You know, I was just saying yesterday or whatever day we recorded that I felt like women's ultra running was still on the rise. And it's like, this is the example, right? The push and the pull all day of these two women just absolutely elevating each other.
Yeah.
It was incredible to watch.
Yeah.
And stressful.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to come back and talk about that here. Just to nail the next two women before we do. Third place was Tara Dower, 8 hours, 11 minutes, 46 seconds. Fourth place, Molly Seidel, 8:25:13. Tara Dower, another podium position here at Black Canyon, another phenomenal performance from her and a meaningful improvement on last year, 14 minutes faster than 2025 and an hour and 45 minutes faster than 2023. So getting better year after year. And then Molly Seidel, of course, the bronze medalist from the Tokyo Olympics, punches a golden ticket to Western States. Quick comments on these two before we bring on a quick special guest appearance.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Tara Dower probably spent most of her day thinking, I'm going to run faster than Riley ran fast year and I will catch these women. And it just never happened, you know, like, because she ran faster than Riley ran by like 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And it to get third place, like she improved by so much from last year. And then Molly Seidel, I'm so incredibly impressed. I thought for sure at that, I think it was, she skipped one of the aid stations. It was Gloriana Mine. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, this is the moment that just like breaks the whole day. But she hung so freaking tough. I thought Shea Acolano was going to catch her at the end there. And it didn't happen. Molly had a day.
Yeah, fantastic day. And we'll come back and talk about that Gloriana Mine thing here in a second. But just to wrap it up for the audience, Jen Lichter, Ann Flower, and Molly Seidel get the golden tickets on the women's side. In my mind, the biggest and best haul at a single race for golden tickets in Western States history. And somebody who's qualified to comment on that is here to join the show quickly, Mr. Craig Thornley. So how was your day in the desert, Craig? Are you at Bumblebee right now?
I am at Bumblebee, yeah. This is where I started my day, and I will come back here. Well, I'll be here tomorrow for the 50K. My brother runs this aid station both days. The day was just incredible. I was talking to Jubilee at the finish, and we're both just incredulous. Like, are we really in these two positions where I'm the race director of Western States and she's the race director of Black Canyon, and we're watching every single year just get crazier than the year before. And we're just so grateful that we're in these positions. And at this time in the sport. It was super fun.
Yeah. Okay. So we just broke down the men's race. So maybe let's start there and come back to the women's race and the story that I just mentioned. Men's side, Anthony Costales, Trayson Knopp, Jordan Bramlett. Maybe you could just share what the exchange was like with each of those three as you got to deliver the good news that they were being invited to Western States.
As Topher must have seen on the webcast, I mean, Anthony basically took the ticket from me. He grabbed it from me. He was so excited. And then the other two guys, you know, I didn't know them ahead of time. You know, I learned more about Jordan after the race from Jamil. He's a local runner here, winning these local races. And then on the big stage, I think he was like 40th, 50th place last year, and then, you know, knocks it out of the park. And I did get to chat with Canyon, who had, you know, he's been trying to get a golden ticket for quite a few years, and I was not able to attend Javelina. So he didn't get the ticket from me. So we took pictures of me holding the ticket with him, even though he didn't get the ticket. So, and then I got to chat with Hans a bit. It was just it was so good.
Yeah. So we had tickets roll on both sides. On the men's side, rolled 5 deep. On the women's side, rolled 4 deep. So Hans, Canyon, Tara Dower, all who are going to be going to Western States and all who had previously earned their tickets. I think with the exception of, Hans is M8 from last year, but Canyon got his ticket at Javelina and Tara also at Javelina.
Yeah.
So maybe because one of the stories throughout the week too was like, well, how far are these going to roll? And it was you on the live stream who, you know, sort of made the statement by decree. They're gonna roll at least 7 deep. Talk about that consideration.
Well, what I meant in the chat was, I think it was Corinne who said they go down to 6th place, and I wrote in there they will go down to 7 if needed. I wasn't trying to make a prediction, but and I looked back and I realized it looked like I was making a prediction, but I wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, so then the women's side. I just said this is the best haul we've ever gotten from a golden ticket race. So just to give the credentials. Jen Lichter is like one of the current best athletes in the world right now, unequivocally, and she's just moving up in distance, right? And last year, course records at Broken Arrow and Speed Goat. Classically more of a mountain athlete, but proved today she's got the leg speed and talent to win on the biggest stages on faster courses. Second place, of course, Ann Flower, 50-mile world record holder, Leadville course record holder. Now here in like certainly the most competitive race, she's almost toe-to-toe with Jen to the line. Another amazing story. And then Molly Seidel, a bronze medalist from the Tokyo Olympics. Tell us, just sort of what the exchanges were like with those 3 golden ticket recipients.
So Jen was a little out of it mentally. I don't know why, but she didn't look at me. She was just kind of doing her thing. And I tried to just stay back and wait till, as MKC, and I just kind of stay back and wait till I get eye contact. And they're like, do you want this ticket? And then Ann came, and Ann immediately saw me holding the ticket. So that kind of unleashed it. I said, do you two want these tickets? And Ann like basically rips it out of my hand again, like Anthony did. And then Jennifer took it.
Yeah. She said in the post-race interview on the live stream, because I continued watching, that she was still unsure. She was going to talk to her coach and stuff about it, but no way.
Yeah, I'm actually not surprised by that for sure.
Hollywood Going is one of the favorites. And also planting the seed. We have all 10 of last year's top 10 returning. And then we got Holly Ranson, Hanoko Akiyama at Tarawera yesterday. And then we got the 3 women that we just mentioned here at Black Canyon today. So fantastic weekend for golden tickets. Was this the first time ever that we've had 2 on a single weekend, Craig?
No, I think it's happened before. I can't remember which 2 races. It has happened before, but we haven't had Western States folks, Carrie represented us at Tarawera and I was here at Black Canyon. So I don't think we've had that kind of representation at 2 races at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 2 more to go. Chianti next, then Canyons, March and April, respectively. How are you feeling there, RD? I mean, the clock is ticking. The race is going to be here before we know it.
I know. So the last one with Molly was just that one was. She was so excited. I don't know if you've talked to her yet, but
We haven't.
She must have had a day. Did you talk to her already?
Not yet.
No, we haven't. Yeah.
She must have had one hell of a day. She came through Bumblebee where I was here in first place, and I thought,
Yeah.
This is a little early to be out in the front when you haven't gone farther than 50K or whatever training runs have been. And then you guys all watched her kind of fall back. I think it was Gloriana right after that where she was suddenly in fourth place, like going the wrong way. And that excitement in her face, I never get tired of how happy people are to get a ticket. I'm not sure it's going to always be like that. I don't know how long it's going to be like that, but the last two races, Chianti last year was the first time, and it had Killian and Vincent and Walmsley there. So who knows what's going to happen this year? And then Canyons is always so deep, as MK knows.
Yeah.
And this is shaping up to be just yet another year that's probably more packed than the year before.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how we keep doing this like every single year. It's better than the year before.
I know.
Sports on the up.
Yeah.
It is definitely on the up. Yeah. It's fun to be part of it.
Well, Craig, maybe in closing, you could just build off what you just mentioned, just the feeling, the emotion of being able to give these tickets, to be able to have that, deliver this amazing gift to these athletes. What does that feel like emotionally, spiritually for you?
Well, I like I said, it's sometimes I just don't believe that it's really happening. Why are people still wanting to run Western States so much? We're doing something right. I hope we can continue to evolve so that it's still very attractive to the top end of the sport.
Yeah.
And still, not forget about the back of the pack. The golden ticket races, the winners are obviously a very important part of Western States, but every runner who gets a spot to start the race is as important as all of the pros.
Yeah.
And I don't want to forget that. It's easy to kind of get caught up in all these great runners coming and we don't want to forget about.
Yeah. Well, it's a good point. And it's probably the same feeling that you get in the auditorium at Placer High School on lottery day when somebody is there in person that comes up on stage who's not going to be competing for a top 10, though is equally excited as it feels like today when you're handing a golden ticket to someone like Molly Seidel, who is also over the moon with joy for this opportunity. Craig, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. I'm sad I'm not there to hang out with you, but it was great to see you hand out those tickets, and we appreciate you sharing a little bit about the boots on the ground experience.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Buddy.
See you, Craig.
All right, so MK, there's more I want to talk about here on the top 4. Ethan, let's start playing some of these clips from the women's race here. MK can give her color commentary, but one thing I just want to say at the beginning here. Jen Lichter's time would have won the men's race in 2022. That's where we are with the sport right now. Trueheart Brown won wire to wire in 2022. That's 4 years ago.
Yeah. I'm not totally surprised, but it's also still just kind of surreal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was texting you and Tim because I was just so hyped. I mean, we had the podium, the women's podium all finished inside of the men's top 10.
Yeah.
Last year, I think I sent you guys that Riley was 14th, Tara was 18th, and I was 25th.
Yeah.
And they were all inside of the men's top 10. And we know that this men's race is incredible.
Yeah. They were 9th, 10th, and 12th.
Yeah.
Jen, Ann, and Tara. Incredible racing. Another great stat here. 2 years ago, the course record was 48 minutes slower than it is now on the women's side for Black Canyon. Unbelievable. Just the step change that we've seen at this race, and specifically in the women's race, because the men's course record keeps going down by 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, Riley broke the course record by 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
And I was thinking, okay, it'll probably go down again this week, but maybe by like 5 minutes. Maybe it's going to start looking like the men's compression here.
But another 20
Another
minutes.
19.
Just gone. And I mean, we're talking about like Rachel Drake held that before Riley Brady. So it's like,
No,
she's no
Keely.
slouch.
Yeah, I think it was Keely, and then Rachel ran like 2 minutes slower than Keely.
Oh yeah. So they were right there together.
Yeah.
Both incredible athletes. Top 10 at Western States.
Yeah. So incredible. I wrote down a couple other observations here. And Flower, like so consistent all day. She really wasn't cooling. And in fact, in the next clip that we'll see here in a second from Deep Canyon Ranch, we won't play the audio, but maybe it'll be included in our highlight film. She actually declines her. I don't know if it was her husband, but whoever was crewing for her there asked if she wanted ice or water poured on her. And she said, nope, no, I don't want it. So Ethan, I think you can go to the next one here. This is Lupin. Yeah. Okay. So here we are coming into Deep Canyon Ranch. This is the critical halfway point in the race, about 50K in, and we're looking at Jen Lichter now, but we'll see Anne in just a little while. And in this clip, she does decline getting water poured on her while we're watching Jen get doused in water by her crew on screen now. Interesting, right? Like,
yeah. What did the temperature at Emory Henderson Trailhead end up getting up to? It was only like, it was cooler than we were even talking about the other day.
Yeah. I think it was like mid 60s.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like absolutely perfect weather.
Great day for racing, but also like you wonder, right? Because obviously Jen was getting wet and icing down and stuff. Yeah. Men's side also, like Hans was icing down, at least moderately.
I think it's like one of those things.
My point is, though, it's like they were separated by 70 seconds at the end. You know, like at that point, those types of decisions actually do have an impact on the race. And obviously, like we're splitting hairs here. She still had an incredible day, but you know, without cooling to run that fast is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And she's from Colorado, right? So it's like, it's not like she trains somewhere hot where she wouldn't need to be acclimated for this, but maybe it was just like, just perfect enough conditions where like cooling could help, but maybe not so much that you're like, you know, obviously we saw it's not like a big decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, so coming back to the women's top 10 here. Last we left off, it was Molly Seidel, 4th place, 8:25.13. 5th place, Abby Hall. An awesome day for her, sort of steady throughout. She was 5th place here last year, backs it up with a 5th place again today, 8:27.50. Abby ran 25 minutes faster for the same position this year.
Yeah.
She's probably taking confidence from this, even if she wanted to finish a little bit higher up in the standings.
Yeah. That's a pretty good sign for the Western States champion to be running 25 minutes faster this early in the season. Yeah.
6th place, Shea Aquilano. I went back and looked. This is her 6th year in a row running Black Canyon. 6th and again this year.
Also 6th, last year.
So Abby and Shea equaled their positions from last year, though also Shea ran 19 minutes faster than last year.
It's crazy.
Yeah. She's kind of like Trayson. I feel like, you know, she's maturing into a really good 100K athlete. She won the Gorge Waterfalls 100K also.
Yeah.
Obviously a huge one here today at Black Canyon. So shout out to Shea. Still only, I think, 24 years old. So fantastic performance from her. 7th place, Eleni Matarese. I don't know her at all. 8:56.27. Do you have any color on her?
Yeah, she I think she was 3rd at the Mammoth Trail Fest 23K. So we interviewed her actually, Danny and I, and she's a Harvard alum, which is funny. I know that program runs a ton of mileage, so it's not surprising to me that she would like leave college and decide to run 100K, because I think she runs like 120 plus miles a week and has for years.
Yeah. It looks like she's only 22 years old, and this was her first 100K. So, I mean, finishing 7th place, that's also a huge result, and, you know, could be.
Also ran, I think, just off the OTQ back at CIM in December, like just missed it.
Yeah. So she was just about an hour off of the win here today as a 22-year-old making a 100K debut. Pretty impressive. 8th place, our reigning champion and past course record holder, Riley Brady, 9:14.08. 9th place, Carla Molinaro, 9:21.18. 10th place, Nicole Hansen, who I think is an Aerovipa Racing team member, 9:24.16. Comments on Riley, Carla, or Nicole before we move on?
I don't know Carla or Nicole, but I was happy to see Riley finish. I think that was a very, very rough day for them. But any kind of shitty experience can still be good experience. So
Yeah,
I hope to see them back at Canyons going for another ticket.
totally. Okay, those are our top 10s for the men's and women's races. There were some notable drops, so let's touch on those now. Matt Seidel dropped, I think, at Black Canyon City. Adam Mary was early at Bumblebee. Same with Tabor Hemming, Sophie Shunk, Anna McKenna, Blake Slatengren, Francesco Pupi, of course, Corinne Shalvoy. Unfortunately, she's a friend. Jade Bellsberg didn't make it to the finish line. I'm not sure what happened to like Stephen Kirsch. We should refresh the DNFs here while we're talking, but those were some notable drops from the race here today. So hope those athletes are doing well. I also pulled up, I was just like kind of thinking about the past 6 years, I'm sort of like viewing 2021 till now as the modern era. And I was just like, where were all the champions from? So listing the men here. It was Portland with Tyler Green, Flagstaff with Trueheart Brown, Salt Lake City with Anthony Costales, Cedar City, Utah for Hayden Hawks, Boulder, Colorado, Seth Ruling, and Cartersville, Georgia for Hans Troyer before he moves to Boulder.
Noonan, Georgia.
Yeah. The women, it was Pocatello, Idaho for Brittany Peterson at the time, Boulder, Colorado for Claire Gallagher, then Portland with Keely and Rachel in back-to-back years. And then Boulder again with Riley. And then today, Missoula, Montana. The only person who's won this race east of Boulder, Colorado is Hans Troyer in the modern era. So I guess it's not surprising, but it's interesting to just see this stuff.
And now he's moving to Boulder just like everyone else.
Okay, a couple more fun things to touch on here before we close. Of course, throughout the week, there was a lot of conversation about pacers after that communication was dropped from PTRA that did a survey about what the pro athletes thought about using pacers, especially in these super high level races. A narrow majority viewed them as unnecessary or counterproductive. So I was just thinking about who used them today and just thinking only about the top 5, because beyond that, we weren't really sure, just based on the live stream, really only being able to capture those top 5 consistently. I think on the men's side, only Anthony used a pacer, and I think he dropped both of them, Andrew Bumbleow, and I think he even dropped Dakota near the end. And then I think on the women's side in the top 5, only Jen used pacers. So I think the majority of people, including Hans, including Ann Flower, including Molly Seidel, including Tara Dower, didn't use pacers. So
Tara used a pacer. She had Sierra with her up until the end, and I think she had Rachel with her before that.
Okay, so Jen and Tara.
And I imagine was Cordis with Abby.
You're right. Yes. So 3 out of the top 5 on the women's side. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So interesting. It'll be interesting to see where this ends up here in the next couple of years. I feel like there is momentum, almost like it's an inevitability that pacers become disallowed in races like Black Canyon.
Yeah. I'm someone who voted to not have them despite having a pacer for the last 15 miles last year. But I also think we got to redo that vote, because there's 170 people in PTRA and I think 50 people voted. So to me, that just doesn't feel like enough for us to be like, we're doing this.
Not enough of a sample size.
Yeah.
But, I think it does. It's hard, right? Because you look at what happened. Chris Myers was pacing Eli. Eli obviously fell apart.
Yeah.
Jen won the race with a pacer and Flower didn't have one. So they, again, 70 seconds separate them. Is that a meaningful thing that does contribute?
I think so.
Seconds? But then you look at Hans and it's like, well, he didn't use a pacer and he won, comfortably, even if it was 5 minutes. He was sort of in control of the race the second half. So
yeah, I think it's I agree that I think that we're definitely on the out. It's in a couple of years, I think we'll be done with pacers for elite athletes. Because I do think that in a lot of senses, it just takes away from the race. You're not really racing the other competitors as much as just locking into your pacer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Couple more fun storylines here. Ethan, if you can pull up our spreadsheet here. So one of the things that we talked about in our predictions episode is just the margin of victory and the podium spread and the top 10 spread historically. So our viewers can see this, but those who are listening now, we added, of course, the data for today's race. One of the predictions that I made was that the women's race this year would mimic what the men's race looked like last year, where we had the smallest margin of victory, the smallest podium spread, and the smallest top 10 in a single running. That was the 2025 men's race. I was kind of right in that we had the smallest margin of victory on the women's side, only 70 seconds, as I mentioned, between Jen and Ann. Also, the smallest podium spread, 14 minutes, 41 seconds, as opposed to last year, it was 32 minutes, 32 seconds between Riley Brady and yourself, MK. So that's a massive compression there in the women's podium spread. Though, interestingly, on the women's side, the top 10 spread was the second largest in the modern era. It's the largest in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
1 hour, 27 minutes, 11 seconds. You had an interesting observation on this. Share it with the audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that because, like I mentioned a couple times, the sport of women's ultra running is still growing so quickly. You still have these like outliers, like when you see Katie Scheid, beat a women's field by like 50 minutes, or Jen taking this course record down, and those three women being so much further ahead of everyone else. It's happening slowly and quickly at the same time. So I think that as the years go on, that margin of victory will stay pretty similar, but we'll see that top 10 spread kind of come back down.
Yeah. Good point. So then looking at the men briefly before we move on, 4 minutes, 32 seconds for the margin of victory, 6 minutes, 45 seconds for the podium spread, 51 minutes, 51 seconds for the top 10 spread. So interestingly, also the largest top 10 spread in the men's race as well, similar to the men's race, though sort of on par with the margin of victory and podium spread over the last few years. So interesting.
Yeah.
Hence for the top three and then spread out, especially the deeper you got into the top 10. So just some interesting stats here. I wanted to also revisit our scenario speculation, just to, put some more data in this historical document that we're creating. So we identified the ways to win here at Black Canyon, which is wire to wire, which few people have been able to do, but some. First half separation, second half separation, a head-to-head duel that comes down to the wire, or finally a come from behind victory. Today, we saw a second half separation on the men's side with Hans running away from Eli and the boys, and we saw a great head-to-head duel with Jen and Ann. So the scenario speculation, I think I predicted that it was going to be Abby and Ann engaged in that duel at the end.
That's what I would have guessed too.
I guessed the scenario and I guessed one of the characters. So got myself on the back there. And I actually,
this might be one of my better like Freetrail fantasy weekends.
Yeah.
I didn't get it all right, but I was pretty good.
Yeah. I think we did pretty decent with our predictions here. Debuting with new sponsors. This was one of the storylines that we talked about earlier in the week. Holy smokes. Hoka and ACG are pumped with Hans and Ann with the Hoka team, both putting up fantastic performances, first and second place. Jen Lichter, of course, ACG debut, smashing the course record. And then Canyon Woodward with Mount to Coast put up a great fourth place here today. So he's probably feeling good about that new partnership. Adam Mary, unfortunately, had the DNF in his ACG debut. So,
but Costales was, not debut, but he was second. So they still had another athlete up in there.
Still had a good day. But anyway, congrats to those athletes and their partners. And keep the momentum going. Fantasy real quick. How'd you do? I don't think the results are up yet because Travis is actually outpacing one of our friends right now. But I picked the entire women's top 5, though in the wrong order. I'm guessing though that I'm guessing a lot of people got the top 5 right though.
Yeah, I had all the right. No, actually that's a lie. I did not have Molly Seidel in my top 5. I can't remember who I had in there that didn't end up in the top 5. Oh, no, Abby Hall was there. I'd have to go back and look, but I did not have Molly Seidel finishing that high, so I can't remember who I had in her place.
Yeah, the only one I got exactly right was Ann Flower in second. The rest were mixed up, but I did get the top 5 in the wrong order. Yeah, the results aren't up yet, but
My
we'll get
men were all over the place. I put Trace and Knopp in third, so I got that. But I had Francesco and Eli in first and second. And then I think my fourth and fifth were like totally off.
Yeah. Yeah, my men's ballot didn't hold up, though. I did get Hans. Well, I had Hans in second. Yeah, other than that, I didn't do well. I did have
Hans was in the top
Gonzalez,
5.
Canyon, and Trayson all in my top 10, though, in the wrong order. Anyway, we did the best that we could. And yeah, just looking at the community picks now, most people did, sort of put Riley Brady was really the one main contender who ended up not performing to the level of fantasy predictors' expectations, though she still got it done. I actually wanted to share that too. But kind of a powerful moment from the live stream was Brett Hornig was doing the on-course correspondent gig from Black Canyon City. And as Riley ran by, evidently she just said one word to him, which was commitment, which to me was like, that's actually pretty powerful. I was like, okay, she's going to finish here today. And I think she was in that about, 8th place position or something like that, well off her course record time. And I'm sure well off her goals for the day, but commitment, and Riley got it done. So good for them. That's kind of it for today's show. MK, you have any closing comments for the audience?
Man, I'm just having some major FOMO on Western States this year.
Yeah.
Got that ticket, but I'm not racing it this year. That women's field, it's just so incredible. And it just gets more and more incredible every single race.
So putting you on the spot for our audience, as we've mentioned now a couple of times, as most people know, of course, you got the golden ticket last year. It ended up bumping down to Abby Hall, who won the race as you expanded your family and welcomed a child into your world. And of course, you now have the ability to cash in that pregnancy deferral anytime you want to. MK, when are you going to Western States?
My hope is 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to do it next year, but I just had an Achilles repair surgery like 10 weeks ago, 12 weeks ago, something like that. And so my hope is to run a 50-mile race at the end of this year and just kind of see like, where am I at? And then hopefully 2027 is on the docket.
All right. We'll put you on our fantasy ballots 18 months in advance there. All right, well, what a great week it was. And again, yeah, tomorrow the 50K does unfold there in Arizona also. I will definitely be trying to watch at least a portion of that live stream also. We won't be doing a live show afterwards, but it's been a great and fun week covering the races with you, MK, with Danny, with Tim, and with all of our great guests here this week. Any closing comments as we wind down?
Just happy to be here, and I'm glad that the trail season is off to such a hot start already.
Yeah. Okay. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for following along all week. If you don't mind, subscribe to the channel while you're here. A big thank you to the team behind the scenes who put it together, especially Ethan Vosberg on the 1s and 2s, Travis Longcar, who has been heavily involved, who is out pacing our friend Bill Shum, who is going to be probably, in the back of the pack here finishing tonight on the Black Canyon course. Thank you to MK, to Tim, to Danny, to everybody who helped bring all this together. Thanks also especially to All Conditions Gear, ACG, Radical Airflow, Ultraflies. We're everywhere on the course today. allconditionsgear.com. You can grab some new Freetrail merch, shop.freetrail.com. MK Sullivan, Ethan, the rest of the team here. I'm Debo. See you guys next time.